number of days before we go to register with the EBC and to ensure that you are on the voters list. So tonight, make sure that you tell everybody in your village, in your community, and in your homes to check with the EBC. It's very easy, check online. And particularly the new voters who have just been exposed to the great leadership of the PNM must be encouraged to come out and make the right choice. Absolutely. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is no stranger to you at all in Barataria, San Juan, or to the wider community in Trinidad and Tobago. She has distinguished herself as a competent, caring, charismatic, and charming leading female politician. In 2015, the people of St. Anne's East resoundingly voted for her to be their parliamentary representative, a role that she has fulfilled magnificently. She has also served as the Minister of Community Development, Culture, and the Arts, and under her leadership, more community centers and community councils, greater support for the arts. And so, Barataria San Juan, we say, no folly with Dolly. Please welcome the PNM's candidate and the right choice for the constituency of St. Anne's East, Dr. the Honorable Nian Gadsby Dolly.
Coming, PNM, PNM.
Political leader and Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, other members of the People's National Movement Executive, including the party's PRO, and our chairman of today's meeting, Ms. Laurel Lazama, and prospective candidate for St. Joseph, and the next MP for the Cox, Minister of Communications, here with us, Alderman Anthony Roberts, chairman of the San Juan Laventille Regional Corporation, the prospective candidate and next MP for Barataria San Juan, bringing Barataria San Juan back into the fold of the PNM. Executive members of the Barataria San Juan constituency, listening and viewing audience, members of the media, a very pleasant good evening to you. It is a pleasure to be in Barataria San Juan, always. Someone tells me I'm on loan to St. Anne's East, but I want St. Anne's East to let them know that I am St. Anne's East now, and I am happy to always visit with my Barataria San Juan brethren. Sour, yes? This evening, I have a simple message for you, and that message is that representation is important and your vote counts. Representation is important and your vote counts. There are too many of us in Trinidad and Tobago who don't believe that political decisions are important. I am sure everyone sitting here, everyone viewing and listening can remember and can recall at least two persons you know who will tell you that voting is not important, that it does not matter if they cast their ballots. But I want to tell you that political decisions have far-reaching consequences. Let's just use this COVID situation. The decision to close borders, which was a political decision, saved the lives of many. Just look around the world at what's happening, and that is clear. A political decision saving lives. Think about our education system and free tertiary education. Think about how that has changed people's lives. Think about the fact that many young people would not have been able to achieve a tertiary education if that was not a political decision to offer that free to students who cannot afford it otherwise. It is a political decision why today 39 communities of Trinidad now have spanking new or beautifully refurbished community centers. And I want to tell you that this Barataria Center that we sit in was one of the first centers that was opened. It was built and not opened. So therefore, without a political decision to do that, we would not be sitting here in this lovely space today. Political decisions are far-reaching. How many micro-entrepreneurs today have their basis in the very popular community skills training programs that take place in centers all over the country? Many of them, whether it is balloon decorating, tailoring, dressmaking, and these are courses offered under the Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts, offered for years. And many people have found their basis for their business and their enterprise in doing these types of skills training, offered free to our citizens. Again, a political decision that has the impact on lives, changing lives, improving quality of lives. So when people say that we shouldn't bother with politics and politics is not important, these are some of the things that I'm showing you that are so fundamental to how we live that sometimes we take it for granted. It is not every country that has free primary and secondary education, but we accept it as normal here because these are the products of our political decisions in Trinidad and Tobago. We all know that education is the number one way to climb out of poverty, to improve your standard of living. And we all encourage our children to go to school, pick up your books. We all recall the statement of Dr. Eric Williams that the future of our country is in the school bags of our children. But these are all political decisions that shape our lives, shape the culture of our country, and impact just how Trinidad and Tobago progresses. These are fundamental, life-changing decisions. And therefore, if political decisions are so important, then we should not, as citizens of this country, leave representation to chance. These decisions are too important to not have a say. Representation is important, and your vote counts. We are all adults, and we can vote. Those of us here and those of us who are not yet adults will soon be adults and will be facing that choice. And that is a responsibility. Being an adult and a citizen of this country brings with it a responsibility to make decisions which will affect us today, but will also affect our children tomorrow and our grandchildren the days after that. And voting is one of those serious responsibilities. The decision to vote, to support a party, it requires thought and analysis and assessment. It requires us to evaluate the options before us and to make a choice. And that choice is not for the perfect party, because I am not perfect. I don't think you are perfect. And if somebody is perfect, then I apologize for calling them imperfect. But no one is perfect and no party will be perfect. So you are not required to choose perfection. But what you are required to do, and it's a serious responsibility, is to look at the team, look at the party, look at the leader that has shown themselves worthy of leadership, shown that they are up to the task of carrying this country forward. I want us to consider and take a careful look at the state of the world today. We are in the midst of a global pandemic raging in many countries. Global economies are reeling from the effects of that. And persons are very unsure, very uncertain of their future. That is the state of the world we live in. So we are called to support a team at this critical time in Trinidad and Tobago. And what team will you support? I want you to consider that when our country needed leadership the most, during this unprecedented pandemic, we received leadership like no other in the person of Dr. Keith Rowley, who sits here before us. We are small, but we outranked many of the countries in the developed world in how we handle that COVID size and protect